Hi guys, we're going to work on Unit 1, Section 1, Writing Equations. I know this is a little bit different than the way I usually take notes, but the nice thing is that you can pause it if I start to go too fast. And if you have any questions, I want you to write the questions down in the margins, and then tomorrow when you come into class, I can make sure I answer all your questions. Okay? Really today what we're talking about is changing mathematical symbols into English words. Really, math is a language. And so a lot of these you already know, but I want to give you some ideas, and feel free to add some more if you can think of some more. So we're going to make two columns. And the first column is going to say symbols, and the second column is going to say words. So we're going to have symbols here. And these are going to be common math symbols, maybe a few that you haven't seen before. And then we're going to write the words that coincide with that. Because you have to be able to interpret the words back into algebra and the algebra back into words. Okay? So the first thing we're going to deal with is the equal sign. Now the equal sign, again, there's a lot of words that can go with it. Equal, equivalent, identical to, same, same as, and the word is. If you see nothing else and you're not sure, then that word is going to be the thing you need to look for. If you can think of other words that I haven't thought of, and you show them to me tomorrow, and you show them to me before somebody else does, I'll give you a piece of candy. Okay. Next one, plus. You've known this for a long time, so plus is the first one I'm going to say. We don't use that too much in algebra, but you might see it. Add, more than. Now you have to be careful. It just says more than. It doesn't say is more than. There's two different things, and I'm going to explain that to you in a minute. So if you see the words more than, then that's going to be addition. That's my next word, addition. And see, a lot of these you already know. The word and, if there's the word and there's nothing else around it to indicate what you're doing, you're going to go to addition. Sum, that's what you learned back in elementary school when you were adding two together. Combine, and together. Okay, there's some of the words you might see, and you might see some more. So like I said, if you can think of some more, add them to your list, maybe with a different color so I can tell. And I'll check them against mine, and if you think of some new ones, I can add it to my list, and you get yourself a piece of candy. Okay? All right, then the next one is minus. So we have minus, subtract, negative. Sometimes that will be a negative. They mean the same thing, just different words. Deduct, take away, less than. Again, doesn't say is less than, just says less than. Difference, reduce, lose, and decrease. Now these are all the words over years I've gathered from a lot of students, so see if you can think of some more. Again, remember with this, if I'm going too fast, just pause it. Take your time, write your notes, add anything you need to, and then hit play when you're ready to move on. The next thing we're going to talk about is multiplication. And what I want you to remember now in algebra, and I'm going to correct you on this a lot, we no longer use the x, okay? We are either going to use the dot or parentheses, okay? I don't want to see x's for multiplication because we're going to use that as a variable most of the time. So that can mean multiply. It can be per, times, product, by, of, or you'll see anything like twice, 3 times, anything like that. Remember, twice means 2 times. You probably already know that, but I thought I would just put that in there. Okay, again, I can never think of a lot for multiplication, so if you can think of some more, that would be great to add to my list. And then let's go on to the next one, and you probably guessed division is next. Now division can either be this. We won't use that symbol very often, the line with 2 dots. We will more often use just a line with a number on the top and the bottom, or we may sometimes use a slash, because remember, fraction is also division, okay? So this could be division. Quotient, I know that's a word we often forget. When you see the word quotient, that means division. Sometimes if I say fraction, that can mean a small division problem. Divided by, and anything like half or a third or a quarter, something like that. Half means we're going to divide by 2, okay? So those are kind of words you want to look out for. Now here's where I think it gets a little confusing, and we kind of talked about this at the top. We're going to talk about our inequality symbols. Now our inequality symbols, we have a less than symbol that looks like this. You have to see the word is less than for it to be a symbol like that, okay? If you just see less than, we're talking subtraction, okay? We could have greater than, or is more than, and you might think of some more of these too, but the is very important. That's when you know we're talking about an inequality. If there's no is in front of it, we're talking about addition and subtraction. That can get a little confusing, so you got to take your time and be very careful that you read all the words in the sentence. And then of course we have is less than or equal to. I always think of this line under here as like a half an equal sign to tell you it's also equal to, okay? I don't know why I think of it that way, I just do. Is less than or equal. And then of course we have the other one, whoa, I didn't make the other one. The other symbol, the greater than or equal to. Again, it needs to say is greater than or equal to. That is the key to know that we're going to be now using an inequality, and that can get a little confusing. So we're going to practice that a lot tomorrow when you get to class. Okay, and then there's a couple more I just want to add, and then we'll be done. Exponent. We're going to use a lot of exponents this year. We can call it an exponent. It can also be called raised to a power. We can also talk about squared. Remember, squared means we're raising it to the second power. So I'm going to put a little 2 up there, okay? I can also say cubed. And they're the most common words you're going to hear when we're talking about exponents. I spread that right. Yep. And then the last thing that we're going to work on tomorrow in class is we're going to talk about the phrase a number. If a sentence says a number, and it doesn't give you an actual number, that's where you want to put your variable. If you're not sure what a variable is, that's just going to be a letter that represents all numbers, or a letter that represents a number. We don't know what that number is, so we replace it with a letter. So we're going to practice using all these tomorrow. So really the only thing you have to have in your notes is this, this table so that you can access it tomorrow. And then we're going to work on this tomorrow in class. And that's it for tonight.